This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Right now, St. Louis University hospital nurses are on strike. Workers are staying on the picket lines for 24 hours, pushing for better safety and staffing. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Negotiations have been going on since May of this year, but still no deal. Our Diamond Palmer joins us live outside the hospital tonight with more on the changes workers want to see. Diamond.
Good evening, Mike and Kelly. St. Louis University hospital nurses are inching towards 12 hours here on the picket line, and they're continuing to see support by cars just simply honking their horns. They want better and safer working conditions and better pay for themselves here at the hospital. And these nurses actually want people to know they want people to take them seriously because they do want a fair contract. The National Nurses Organizing Committee and National Nurses United represent these nurses here on the picket line, and they were the ones who orchestrated this strike to happen. They gave SSM Health a 10-day notice that this strike would be happening. And today, nurses, community leaders, and elected officials had a rally. Nurses here tell me they want safer working conditions, better pay, benefits, and improvements for nurse recruitment and retention. SSM Health released a statement in part saying since August 29th, the National Nurses Organizing Committee has declined to respond to our counter proposals on key wage issues. Negotiations can only make progress when both sides are motivated and engaged. Now, I spoke to one of the nurses here on the picket lines who came back out of retirement during the pandemic to help, and she says things aren't easy.
Because it's extremely hard work. It's hard physically, it's hard spiritually, it's hard emotionally, and the more sick people that we have to take care of, which numbers are only increasing, and the fewer resources that we have to manage those with, the more difficult our job becomes.
These nurses will be on strike until 6:59 a.m. tomorrow and then return to their duties as nurses. But just to let viewers know, the hospital and the nurses that represent them have been negotiating since mid-May, but they've been without a contract since June. For a full statement from SSM Health, you can head to our website. Reporting in Midtown, Diamond Palmer, 5 on your side.
United Auto Workers are on day 11 of their strike. That includes workers at the General Motors plant in Wentzville.
As negotiations continue, we looked into when the strike may impact our day-to-day lives. 5 on your side's Holden Karicki is here in studio after spending the day in Wentzville. What is the latest on this, Holden?
Well, Kelly, Mike, in the first 10 days of the strike, the economy lost more than $5 billion. I spoke with an expert in supply chain management today who told me that if the strike lasts longer than 30 days, it's going to start impacting all of our bottom line and not just those of you who are in the market for a new car.
After 11 days on the picket line,
no contract, no
members of UAW Local 2250 are holding firm in their demands of the Detroit automakers.
If we don't take on this fight now, then it'll just continue to get worse for these workers and workers across the country.
Since the start of the strike, more than 18,000 UAW workers have walked off the job in what Mitch Milstein, professor of supply chain analytics at UMSL, called a stroke of genius.
And what Shawn Fain, the president of the UAW, did is the latest round, he shut down the parts warehouses. And everybody thinks, oh, that's going to affect the assembly plants, but it's primarily going to affect your ability to get your product repaired.
Though Milstein admits there are plenty of parts in the supply chain now.
2 weeks from now, 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now, that inventory is going to go away. And then what happens when your transmission breaks and you can't get the parts you need? I think this is going to affect people in ways that they never thought.
That extends to non-union auto workers.
Those businesses, they can keep producing some inventory, but they're not going to be able to last very long before it doesn't make any sense for them to keep producing without getting paid.
Milstein says it could put pressure on the Big Three to strike a deal with the UAW. But unless that happens sooner rather than later, the impacts will still be felt by suppliers for the foreseeable future.
And they're not thinking about is the potential to hollow out the labor force of the suppliers to the big assembly plants. When that happens, or if, let's hope that doesn't happen, if it does happen, then we're months and years to get back instead of just days or weeks.
I reached out to Magna, an auto supplier which employs thousands of workers in Illinois and Missouri. A spokesperson told me they are working on contingencies to address any disruptions, but they added that they are prepared to scale back production as efficiently as possible. You can read their full statement on KCK.com or the 5 on your side app. Mike?
Holden, thanks. An update now on the push to let voters weigh in on abortion access in Missouri. Today, a judge changed the ballot language written by Republican Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft. Ashcroft described proposed constitutional amendments as, quote, dangerous, unregulated, and unrestricted abortions. The judge changed it to the right to make decisions about reproductive health care. The judge also changed other parts describing some of Ashcroft's language as problematic. If the proposals get enough signatures, Missouri voters will decide on abortion next year.
New tonight, a former school nurse pleaded guilty to statutory sodomy involving a student younger than 17 at Vianney High School.
As part of the plea deal that a judge accepted today, she will not serve any time in prison. Our Christine Byers was the only reporter in the courtroom today as prosecutors explained the deal. Christine.
Mike, Erin Forstell can no longer work as a school nurse. She must register as a sex offender and move away from Vianney. And prosecutors tell me this is what the victim's family wanted so their son could start healing instead of going through a trial. Erin Forstell is 42 years old. She started working as a school nurse at Vianney High School when classes resumed following the pandemic. The victim was younger than 17 when the sexual contact with a student happened at the school. The victim's family gave an emotional statement today in court, saying Forstell preyed upon their son for months through social media and even told him how to lie to his parents so they wouldn't find out where he was. They also blasted her, questioning how she, as a mother herself of young boys, could do this to another mother's child. St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell says the plea deal he agreed to was based on the wishes of the victim's family.
And there's times and cases where the family wants to be able to get closure and move on and not have their this situation put out for public scrutiny any more than it has been already.
Now, Forstell's status as a registered sex offender means she will also not be able to attend events with her own children. Her husband and children did not attend today's hearing, and at times she wiped away tears. Coming up at 6, what St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell said when I asked him if this case would have been treated differently had the suspect been a man.
Thank you, Christine. In about an hour, the public can weigh in on how St. Louis City should spend money from the Rams settlement. The city's getting $250 million. The city wants to hear from residents on what it should do with the money. There is a public meeting in about an hour on Zoom that starts at 6. There will be 2 more public meetings, one in October, another in December. There's also an online survey available right now. You can find all of that info and a link to join tonight's meeting under this story on KSDK.com.
We're days away from a potential government shutdown. While parties are torn on funding, there is one point both sides agree on.
New trouble from this year's extreme heat and drought. Why it is threatening drinking water for thousands near New Orleans.
Another job is being hit hard by a staff shortage. Our Verify team explains why you may have a harder time finding an endocrinologist.
And our drought continues. 89 today in St. Louis, 11 degrees above average right now in Weldon Spring. It's beautiful, but 85, way above average. We'll talk about a chance of rain, one chance this week, coming up.